Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Is Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale, should that fight get made, and it's expected to for May 18th, should it be on pay-per-view or should it just be on regular TV? And by regular, you can take that to be perhaps on Showtime, which is a cable service, or even on Fox. And why I've come to do this video is Deontay Wilder made some comments to the Boxing Voice recently about potentially wanting to wind up on Fox, have this in front of the Fox audience. As he said, let's get the viewership up. I'd love to go on Fox and fight Breazeale. And that sort of comment in itself is a little bit innocuous, but you can actually read quite a bit from it, because some of the wider context for that interview and some other statements recently from Deontay Wilder is, look, I'm a free agent. He's made that very clear that he's not tied down to any television networks. He can go anywhere, do anyone, fight anyone at any time. But with some of these offers that are now raining in to Deontay Wilder, the WBC champion since 2015, he's had, 8 defenses since picking up the title. He now has some options, with Top Rank offering him a deal, which they've pretty much flat out rejected, but also he is going to be meeting with DAZN. And some of the numbers that have been thrown out for a potential fight on either of these, ESPN, the network, or the DAZN streaming service, is, $15 to $20 million for his next fight. And that would either be before a fight with Tyson Fury on ESPN, or either before a fight with Anthony Joshua on DAZN. So Deontay Wilder's made it very clear, look, I'm in a good position here. I have options, and there's a lot of things that I can do within my career. But does that mean he's going to take the leap? Is he going to go and cross the street, as it were? Because remember, his advisor, Al Heyman, who's advised him since about, 2013, I want to say, end of 2013. Because remember, he wasn't with Al Heyman from the start of his career. Deontay Wilder was originally a Golden Boy fighter. That was for about the first 30-ish fights. But he's got some decisions to make now, because I'm sure Al Heyman, his advisor, would rather he stay inside the tent. And when you look inside the tent, what does that actually mean? That means either Showtime or Fox. Al Heyman recently, through PBC, signed a pretty big deal with Fox, extended content. They're going to have a number of cards, and that's going to be very good for boxing fans. More boxing, more money in boxing, more opportunities for fighters to come through, show their wares, and make their way in the sport. So I'm all for competition. I don't really care so much about people slagging off one or the other, because the more avenues for these fighters, I think that's a good thing. And with all the competition that's happening at the moment, what we are seeing is the prices for different fighters is getting driven up. And that's got to be a good thing. At least I think that is. And you sort of look at the case with Deontay Wilder. I think that's a case in point. With DAZN coming into the market in the United States, and there's more competition, between these different networks and broadcasters to establish some market dominance. You've got ESPN making big moves in the heavyweight division, signed Tyson Fury, looking to sign Dillian White. They got Kubrat Pulev recently. Jarrell Miller is with DAZN. Anthony Joshua, fight-by-fight deal with DAZN. So there is a lot of money to be had in the heavyweight division right now. And historically, Deontay Wilder has actually been, you would say, for a guy with that many fights, with the number of defenses that he's got under his belt, that he's been probably underpaid for, someone of his stature and what he's achieved in his career. Before this Tyson Fury payday, which we don't know the exact numbers, but it was in the several $1 million at least. You have his highest payday was Luis Ortiz in March 2018, $2.1 million. We don't know what sort of money he would have got on the back end there from Al Heyman and whatever other arrangements they have in place. But with everything that's going on and the demand, one, for his signature for some sort of promotional deal, or not even to be exclusively promoted, but fighting on another network, in the case of DAZN, he wouldn't have to necessarily sign with a promoter, but sign a contract to fight on the network. His value is getting brought up. And part of that was the Fury fight. There was some buzz, after that fight for both Fury and Wilder, and they were set to make a pretty decent payday, reportedly somewhere $15 to $20 million each in a rematch. But now Deontay Wilder can face Dominic Breazeale for about probably the same amount of money. either on Fox or Showtime, and many would have just expected it was probably if he wasn't going to consider the other options that were out there at the moment, DAZN, Top Rank, or whoever else would be in the bidding, that potentially Showtime was the one and only option that they would do. And Stephen Espinoza has been, around different bits and pieces, sort of talking up, how they would go about this, and even going so far as to respond to a Twitter account, a parody account, a Boxing Kingdom parody account, which had reported, with some fake facts, saying to be Dan Rafael, saying it would be $99 on pay-per-view. And Stephen Espinoza, I'll just bring it up here, absolutely false. If the fight is pay-per-view, it will not be $99.99 or anything close to that. But, even that in itself, it makes it seem like potentially Showtime is in the box seat there. If the fight is to be held in-house, as we'll call it, that Showtime would have it. But Deontay Wilder's comments about Fox, I would definitely much rather fight Breazeale on free-to-air Fox. Let's get the viewership up. I'd love to go on Fox and fight Breazeale. Sort of sets the cat amongst the pigeons there. And is this a bit of a public play from Deontay Wilder to get Showtime to open up its wallet and let the moths fly out and, really put up a decent amount of cash for this fight? Because as we're hearing, there is demand for Deontay Wilder for a big payday, even for a Dominic Breazeale fight. Because obviously it's not so much the Breazeale fight that these other broadcasters are really wanting to pay for. It's the fights after, but they know that they have to invest into the Breazeale fight to potentially land Wilder on their network. And he has said in that same interview, I want to get my due, that, I want to get what's mine. So, it sort of runs counter to some of the statements he's made before regarding, it's not all about money, you can't take it with you when you die, all that sort of stuff. And then a few days later or a week later, he turns around and sort of says, I want to get my piece of the pie, or words to that effect. But, this whole thing with the Fox comments, maybe that is designed to get Showtime to up its offer. He's almost fought exclusively on Showtime in recent years. There's only been one or two fights that he hasn't had on Showtime in the past 3 or 4 years. So this could be an opportunity for Showtime to go, okay, we see what the market is prepared to pay you here. We will match that. So if he got $12, $15 million or whatever, they ended up offering, you could sort of say that, the market has won out here and supported Deontay Wilder. That is if Showtime is willing to do it, because they will be looking at the economics of this and going, does this make sense? And for them, I'm sure the only way for this to make sense is to put it on pay-per-view. And is this something that we want to see on pay-per-view? A Dominic Breazeale fight? I would suggest not. A fight with Tyson Fury, that, a much anticipated rematch? Sure, no issues with that. An undisputed fight with Anthony Joshua? Sure, no issues with that. But Dominic Breazeale? No. Even Wilder sort of saying, pay-per-view for me is definitely those big moments, those special magical moments for fights that people have to see. Breazeale don't fit that bill. Kind of says it all. He doesn't think it's a pay-per-view fight. That's coming from Deontay Wilder himself, and he continued, nobody knows Breazeale. He tries to play that tough man role, but his voice ain't even deep enough for starters, and he ain't got no swagger. So you kind of have to wonder, with all the offers floating around, and his value seeming to be at an all-time high, and remember, a fight like this, say 2 years ago, Deontay Wilder might have got paid $1.5 million, well, the publicly listed purse that is, whereas the numbers we're talking about now are 10 times that, $15 million to potentially $20 million. Depends whatever deal is struck with either DAZN or Top Rank, but maybe it will be used as leverage to get a bit more coin out of the guys that he has been with. And maybe Fox would be willing to sort of come in here and go, okay, well, we can stump up X amount. This is what we want to do. And Fox itself is a much bigger platform than Showtime. And over time, it's sort of, the writing appears to be on the wall with this bigger deal that Al Heyman has in place with Fox, extended coverage, more cards that were signed recently, that Fox is going to be where it's at for PBC moving forward. So maybe Showtime, for now, they're in an okay position, maybe a little bit shaky, but they're still in the tent. But over time, I can definitely see this transitioning more and more to Fox. And you've got Deontay Wilder sort of expressing, I want to be on that bigger platform for this fight. So what do you think he should do? Does staying put mean going over to Fox, fighting there, trying to wring out every dollar he can to sort of stay within the tent? Or is it going to lead to perhaps a pay-per-view on Showtime? And not sure that's really going to fly with fans. And can you really see them running on regular Showtime? I'm just not so sure. Or is he going to take the leap? He is going to be meeting with DAZN. And maybe Top Rank isn't quite out of the woods. Wilder's been indicating he's been getting offers galore. So we'll have to see where this goes. It's interesting. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.